This program is sponsored in part by the National Catholic Society of Foresters. Hello again, and welcome to Looking at Social Justice. I'm Jim Grant, and it's my privilege each week to bring you a program that has to be focused around something around justice. Recently, we've been doing a short series on restorative justice. We've had some people that have worked in prisons. We've had people that have been in prison. We've had people that are giving a course at Santa Clara University on restorative justice as a degree program. Today, we have a very special guest. Marty Steinman is going to talk to us about a program that she's been involved with for a long time, by which children are able to go and visit their parents in state institutions here in California. It's my privilege now to introduce you or have Marty Steinman tell us a little bit about how she ever got involved with Get on the Bus and why it is that she is still involved year after year in helping this program that benefits children from the Valley, because we have been partners with you, but also from across the state. Right. Marty, it's a joy to have you. Tell us about yourself and how you became involved in Get on the Bus.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I'm delighted to be here. I'm a member of the First Congregational Church, United Church of Christ in Bakersfield. And around 2004 or 5, our church began to be involved with Get on the Bus and sponsored a bus to Chowchilla, the women's prison. And around 2007, I believe, I was able to become a bus coordinator and had a chance to visit. Actually, we changed to California Men's Colony by the time I volunteered. And we've been volunteering ever since. And then in 2016, the parent company, the umbrella company for Get on the Bus is the Center for Restorative Justice Works. And they talked with me about being a part-time employee. So I've been working part-time as the Central Valley coordinator. So I'm involved with areas in Bakersfield, Fresno, and Visalia, and the surrounding areas in helping parents or caregivers to take children to visit their parents in prison.
Well, it's been a wonderful partnership with you going back several years. Why don't we have you introduce us to this wonderful organization, the Center for Restorative Justice Works, CRJW. They are you might say, the umbrella that pulls together so many good programs. What can you tell us about CRJW?
Well, first of all, there are 7 other regional coordinators like myself, and we are throughout the state. And the Center for Restorative Justice Works reweaves the web of relationships that have been broken or torn apart by the crime and the policies of the criminal justice system. CRJW serves as a conduit to assist and accompany children, families, and communities in crossing over the barriers that separate them from people in prison. In doing so, CRJW restores relationships and creates public awareness in order to bring about radical transformation in the criminal justice system.
So the website where a lot of what we're going to be talking about could be found is crjw.us. So once again, crjw.us, because many of the concepts that we'll be sharing could be found there. And if you are interested in joining Marty and me in this effort to have children visit their parents at any of the state prisons in the Valley, we will be so glad to have you join us. So Marty, what can you tell us about the belief system? There's something that I saw on the website that I just mentioned about the things that CRJW believes that obviously become the blueprint or the direction that you follow in your work of coordinating all of us in the Central Valley. What are some of those beliefs?
Well, the beliefs are very important. They guide us in helping us to reunite children with their parents. We believe that families are torn apart by the current policies of the criminal justice system, leaving behind children who become hidden victims of crime. Prisons are often located in isolated areas, far from families of mothers and fathers in prison, and the children lack the means to visit their parents. Oftentimes their caregivers don't have reliable transportation, or they can't afford the gas to get that far away. As a result, more than half of the children with a parent in prison never get to visit their parent. We believe that a regular parental visit is essential for the welfare of the child and also for the welfare of the incarcerated man or woman and for society as a whole. Children who have a regular parent visit demonstrate better emotional and social development as well as a lower degree of juvenile delinquency. And their parents demonstrate lower rates of recidivism and higher rates of family reunification upon their release from prison. Another of our beliefs is that the children have the right to speak, touch, and hug their parent, no matter where they are. We believe that children have the right for a lifelong relationship with their parent. We believe that it is essential to provide children every opportunity to visit their parent in prison and to strengthen that relationship as a family. And we believe that the families and the children are essential partners for rehabilitation and reentry into the society.
And having worked with you, it's obvious that these beliefs are really the reason and the foundation of all the work that you do. But I guess when push comes to shove, it's always going to be a question of how do beliefs become policies? How do beliefs become actionable? So how is it that Get on the Bus makes those beliefs realities? How do they happen?
Well, we visit 12 state prisons and one women's federal prison in Dublin, and that's a start. But that is a long way. There's still a long way to go to unite more inmates with their children, as California has the largest prison system in the nation, with 46 prisons or facilities that house over 165,000 men and women, who leave approximately 200,000 children without one or both of their parents.
Now, one thing we should probably do before our viewers and our listeners say, okay, so you're doing this work, you said you've done it since about 2004, but when did this wonderful project of uniting children from across the whole state of California, all the way up in Humboldt County and Del Norte, all the way down to San Diego, it's the whole state.
That's right.
How did this become a dream that became a reality? Who are the masterminds or the saints that pulled this together?
Well, the main saint is Sister Susan Jabreau, who in 1999 had several other sisters from her order visiting the women in Chowchilla. And the women of the order said to the inmates, well, you know, we come to visit you, but what else could we do for you? What do you really need? And the women responded resoundingly, bring us our children. So in 1999, the first bus brought 17 children and their caregivers to visit, and thus Get on the Bus began.
So it's 20 years this year, and the numbers, we're going to look at them later, are amazing. If it began with 17 children, we have already in the diocese the last couple of years had buses loaded with children. So it's a wonderful growth. But let's bring it to the diocese now. Here in the valley, in the Diocese of Fresno, we have 14 state facilities with 14 Catholic chaplains. Some of them are priests, some are deacons, some are lay women and lay men, all across the valley. Now, the people that they're working with, is the California Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. These are those officers that are very much in charge of the discipline and the operation of our state prisons. But they are very much connected with this Get on the Bus adventure, this project, this ministry. Tell us where CDRC and Get on the Bus are partnering.
Well, it's a wonderful partnership, and it's because the California Department of Rehabilitation and Correction has seen the progress that Get on the Bus has. Different correctional officers have said, wow, I see that man as a father, not just an inmate. Or I see that woman as a mother, not just an inmate. And they have a different relationship with the correctional officers and the inmates because of Get on the Bus. And CDRC has been most generous in preparing for each visit. Someone from our staff goes to each visit prior, like in the past couple of months in October, probably September and October, laid the groundwork for what will happen in 2020 when we begin visits in March and go through June visiting the 12 prisons for men and women. So the wardens have been very cooperative, and the correctional officers. On visiting day, there's actually a visiting department, and they handle all of the applications for our caregivers who are bringing the children. And if if a child doesn't have a caregiver that can go because of work, sometimes the visits are on a Friday, and that caregiver cannot take time off from work, we have volunteers who take the child for that day, and they assume the parental responsibility or the responsibility for care of that child on the trip. So the relationship with CDRC and Get on the Bus is strong, and it's because they have seen how wonderful it works.
Speaking of seeing how wonderfully it works, this would be a great time, I think, to watch a video that we have. There's something that's been prepared that actually encapsulates the power of what is that connection. It is not often that many of the children that we have put on the buses that have gone to Chowchilla or Soledad, that they go often. Some of them, it's the one time the year because of the bus that they're able to go. Mm-hmm. So why don't we watch this short little 3-minute clip that might give us an idea of the power of what is this gift that began with the Sisters of St. Joseph, beginning with Sister Suzanne J. Bro and her sisters, but now it's a much larger operation. Absolutely. Let's see the clip now and be amazed.
So you have family on the outside?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of family on the outside.
Specifically a child?
Yes, a 3-year-old daughter.
And you can tell us her name?
Her name is Cherish Morris.
And have you ever met Cherish to this point?
Actually, I haven't been able to meet her up to this point.
She doesn't know her father, so she only sees his high school pictures of him, and he's living through the pictures that I send him.
I haven't seen my daughter in, I think she said 15 years.
My dad's been in jail since I was 2, and he was 18, so it's been a life journey.
Me not raising my child is the biggest regret of my life because I didn't get a chance to do the promise I made to myself. I left her out there.
We as a state can't afford to go round up all of these children and bring them to their fathers for Father's Day. We can't afford to do that. We don't have the resources, we don't have the manpower. It's not even possible. But when outside entities like Get on the Bus come around and provide this kind of what I'm going to call a blessing to our population and to our institution, that's where the magic happens.
One of the biggest problems you have in prison is sometimes lack of hope. That's the biggest factor, is hope. If you have no hope, you have nothing. So that's what this program provides, is hope.
With the Get on the Bus program, I was really excited about it. There's so much anticipation being built up for the event, not only from the inmates, but from the family members and the staff.
Without this program, then I would have had to wait till maybe December or either next April just to even see my daughter. And then I know it's just not me that's struggling with not seeing their loved ones or their family.
It's really going to be a pleasant experience. I can really just go from here, from my cell, and just sit with my son for 3 to 4 to 5, 6 hours and enjoy being in his presence.
My family, that's what keeps me going up in here. If I don't got nothing to look forward to, I feel like I don't got nothing to lose. So by me seeing him, it keeps me calm, motivated, trying to do better.
This actually boosts my self-esteem a lot higher than what it was, just for the simple fact that I'll be able to see her and actually physically be there with her. And it'll be more so as a wake-up call to keep pushing towards the homeward bound.
What was it like seeing your daughter today after not seeing her for 15 years?
I'm so proud that she's the young woman that she is. I'm so proud that I have grandchildren. I have grandkids.
The Get on the Bus program, my take on is that it'll continue to happen here for a very, very long period of time.
One of the things that we'd like to do is allow that program to broaden and maybe be part of more of our prisons or institutions throughout the state.
The Get on the Bus program is a heaven sent. This came from God.
There are actually several fine videos about the Get on the Bus that we've used over the years, but I will say this new one is amazing. It's so well filmed, and then what the inmates say and what the mothers say and the children. Did you want to unpack anything that in seeing it again, Marty, you wanted to share?
Every time I see it, it touches me extremely well. This was the first visit to Corcoran State Prison, and it was just done this last October. So it's the first time that the men have had the chance to experience Get on the Bus, and you can see the love that those dads have for their kids and how much they miss them because they're incarcerated. But as the video stated, it gives them hope, and without hope, they don't have much motivation. So with the hope that Get on the Bus provides, they are more committed to making sure they're doing the right things in prison, taking advantages of the programs that are available in prison, and preparing themselves to reunite with their family when they get out.
You know, one thing is we're always wondering, are we doing more for the inmates than we're doing for the survivors of crime and for the families of those that they leave behind? So Get on the Bus is a win-win. It's very, very positive for the families that are left bereft of their father or mother, but it's also, as you said, an inspiration for not only good behavior in prison, but also to get a commitment for when they come out that they want to have that relationship that they saw a little bit of it on a visit. Mm-hmm. Because many of these fellas and the women are needing to know that there's something worth having a second chance for, having a second life. So thank you for what you've been doing for so long with Get on the Bus. But I know we're here today in the next 8 minutes to invite people to join you, to join us. So what can people do to help, Marty? How can we get involved?
Well, there are a lot of things, but could I just tell one little quick story first?
Please do.
My first visit to the California Men's Colony, I met one of the inmates, and he called me to his table and said, could I share some scripture with you? And I said, of course. And he read Matthew 25:37-40. And then the righteous will answer, he said, the Lord Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? And the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. And the inmate said to me, that's get on the bus.
Oh, is that sweet?
Yeah, that hooked me forever.
Oh my, yes. So with that
So how do we-
inspiration from Matthew 25, which actually I must say, you played right into me on this one. We have our county jail ministry called Matthew 25, and it's a wonderful group that visit not the state prison, but the very locally accessible prison on Fresno and M, the men and women's facility for county inmates.
Yeah.
Matthew 25, not just a scripture verse, but a commitment to seeing Christ in those most in need, whomever they be.
That's right.
So, getting back to our task, how can we engage people, Marty? What are some of the ways we can get people to help us?
Well, now this podcast is all over California, correct?
All over.
So if anybody in the audience is in the North Hollywood area, they always can use volunteer help at our office for the Center for Restorative Justice Works.
Nice.
So anyone in North Hollywood. Also, anyone can become a bus coordinator and take a bus to one of the prisons. And that has to have some training that goes with it, but there's always, we have an annual training, and we even can do some individual training.
And we're looking for a coordinator for the Diocese of Fresno. We really hope that someone watching this is going to say, I'd like to step up. I've helped in other ways, but I really want to get those kids on the bus this year. There's 2 trips that we have planned, one for Mother's Day in Chowchilla, one for Father's Day down in Soledad Salinas. So please, if you're interested and able, be in touch. Connect with me at the diocese. I'll be so glad. So that's for coordinator. What else can people do?
Well, the coordinator needs help.
Oh, yes.
So you can become a home visitor to help with the paperwork. Spanish is also helpful if the person can speak Spanish, because we have many inmates who are Spanish speaking. So the home visitor will take the paperwork that's required by the prison and the paperwork that's required by Get on the Bus. They can organize a drive, a bake sale, or other fundraiser to raise money for Get on the Bus, because this doesn't happen without money. They can help with the breakfast and check in before the bus leaves in the early hours of the morning. You still have to have time to get, then you could still have time to get to work, because it's really early in the morning.
And some of our parishes are doing this. St. Anthony Mary Claret is our basic starting the day place and drop off at the end of the day. Holy Spirit has been very, very generous in funding the project. St. Francis of Assisi in Bakersfield has been very consistently helping when a group comes back. They need a dinner on their way back to LA, so they'll stop in Bakersfield at St. Francis. We want to thank all of the Catholic parishes that have been very, very generous. There's also other communities that have helped, other churches.
And there's a youth group with St. Philip the Apostle in Bakersfield, who has, that youth group collected backpacks for the children. So there's so many ways.
And San Joaquin Memorial, can't forget,
yeah.
They not only last year came up with some wonderful, they gave us lots of supplies, but they also did some nice blankets that they had woven for us. So we want to thank everybody who has helped, but there are so many ways to join that team.
Also, when you mentioned the blankets, Sister Seton in Bakersfield.
Mother Ann Seton, the parish of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish
in Bakersfield contributed 30 blankets.
Oh.
And they did it as the youth project. Members of the congregation donated the material, and the kids put the blankets together.
So there are parishes, there are communities across the valley that have really helped along the way. We need that support this year again. If you're watching or listening, be in touch and let's get you signed on.
They can also donate items for the caregivers' bags. They can donate teddy bears, which are gifts from the inmate to the children after they get back on the bus, with a letter from the parent. And then they can contribute money to help pay for the dinner on the way home, and they can pray for the success of the day.
3 people in particular that I can't not mention. Dr. Betty Leone has been very, very involved over the years with us. Also, Mimi and Sophia Fanucchi have been very generous and very, very committed at St. Anthony of Padua School and with other community members of their friends. They've done wonderful collection of resources, teddy bears, and backpacks.
Ah, those are so helpful. We provide a backpack for each child, and it has items in it for to keep them occupied while they're on the bus. Some suggestions are small packs of wet wipes, individual packs of tissues, a pair of fuzzy socks for teens, cute socks for smaller children, earplugs for teens, eye masks for teens, Sudoku books and other activity books, or magazines for children and teens, coloring and activity books, crayons, markers, colored pencils, pens and pencils, cardstock, stickers, etc. We also give to the children on that bus trip home a Stay Connected bag, which is includes some writing paper, some stamps, and sometimes lots of stickers so that they can communicate with their parent in prison after they've had the visit.
Got to say one thing about crjw.us. That's the website. You'll find it, crjw.us. All the things we've talked about, they're all there at the website. But you have 40 seconds, Marty, to tell us something from...
Here's an example of a wonderful family reunion. This is a 4-generation family. Wow. And without Get on the Bus, they would not all have been able to be there at the same time. And they have the day's visit, about 4 hours, with lunch prepared by CRJ, or presented by CRJW. So it's just an incredible experience for them.
Marty, thank you for being here today. Hopefully we will have people who are watching or listening to get to me. Call the diocese. Call me at my office. You know that number. You don't even need to see it. Thank you, Marty. We'll be back next week with another program. Till then, God bless.